Having a job you love, working alone, showing property to strangers can be very dangerous. April 8th, 2011, West Des Moines, Iowa, and September 25th, 2014, Little Rock, Arkansas. Two realtors who lost their lives. This is a story of Ashley, Okland, and Beverly Carter. Good morning. Welcome to Kelli's Coffee and Crime Chat. This is Kelli, and I'm bringing you this week a story on Saturday morning because I had so much to do and I ran out of time. So I am recording this September 23rd. We have 1 week left. Also the first day of fall. Oh, it's finally here. It's a nice cool morning. Oh man, I went out on my porch and sat outside. So nice and cool. Okay. I am drinking a new one. Java Mama pumpkin apple cake coffee. And it is pumpkin spice cake with apple pie filling. And it is very, very good. I even put some Ready Whip on it, just because since it's supposed to be like pie, I had to put some Ready Whip on it. It is very good. It is available now. I will leave the link in the show notes. Java Mama is clean and green, never bitter, air roasted, and better for your gut. We also have really good tea from fresh tea leaves. So it's not the ground tea, it's actual tea leaves and fruit and all different kinds, depending on what kind of tea you enjoy. And there's also hot cocoa now, which it is hot cocoa season. So I like all my hot beverages at this time. I am bringing you a couple cases that were similar in a way. And at one time, authorities thought they were connected, so I thought this would be good to do together since they're both there's not much information on the first one and I wanted to add the second one. So I have never ever thought of being a realtor. I mean, yeah, of course I always, when you're young you think of being what do you want to be when you grow up, all that. Of course I wanted to be a hairdresser. That never happened. So I also thought, wow, when I was looking at houses for the first time, I thought, this really wouldn't be a bad job, just showing property. But then you got to know all of the numbers, and that's where I couldn't do it. Numbers, percentages, whatever. I couldn't do all of that part of it. But then you start hearing about cases like these, and I'm like, nope. I will never be a realtor. So, but I tell you what, my hat goes off to them. I like realtors. Of course, they show us our homes that we buy and they work hard. They do. And they're knowledgeable. So, so these stories are very, very sad. And I know there's more than these out there. So I'm going to start this one. Now, my sources are thecrimewire.com, oxygen.com, and iowacoldcases.org. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Ashley Okland. And she was 27 years old from Des Moines, Iowa, West Des Moines, Iowa. She was 27 and it was 2011. It was a Friday, April 8th. Ashley was at 558 Stone Creek Court in West Des Moines, Iowa. She had an open house. It was a model townhouse. Now, I'll have a photo of that residence. Now, it says an open house for a model townhouse, but it just looked like a house to me. I don't know. That this is just going off of what I read, but I will have photos on Instagram and my Facebook page. So she was at this open house, and she was holding the open house, and an employee there at the homes heard a commotion. Now, I guess going back to the townhouse, I'm thinking what it is. It's homes that's owned by the same company. So an employee there that worked for them heard a commotion inside the place, like after 2 p.m. and went inside and found Ashley. She was laying on the floor in a pool of blood. She had been shot twice. She had died later that night at the hospital. Now, inside the home, there were no signs of a struggle, no sexual assault or robbery, and investigators came to suspect it was someone that she knew. Residents in the area were on alert. They ended up getting security in their homes. One security company got a lot of business in that area when this happened. Now, police got many calls on tip lines and information on a black SUV, which they thought was a Cadillac Escalade. So that was near the townhouse where Ashley was murdered. A suspect emerged in 2014 who they thought was guilty of it, but they ruled him out in Ashley's murder. He was 33-year-old Aaron Michael Lewis. There is a reward of $150,000 for any information on Amy's death. It is still unsolved. They have no idea who killed her. You think that there could be something with the bullets or something with the gun, to know what gun, and there could be like a trick. I mean, I'm not sure how it all works, but I didn't get much more information on this. The Ashley Okland playground was built in 2014. A $100,000 donation from the Iowa Association of Realtors made that possible, as well as Sherry McMichael, who was Ashley's friend. She's the one that thought of this idea. The playground is for disabled children, and it was put up in her honor. Now, in Ashley's honor, I will have a photo of that as well. It's at Ewing Park at 5300 Indianola Avenue in Des Moines. And the Des Moines Police Department, please call if you have any information on her, any information on this crime. Area code 515-222-3344. Or you can call Crime Stoppers. Either visit their website or call 515-223-1400. And that's Crime Stoppers in Des Moines, Iowa. I wish I would have found more information on this. I did not find if they're like her family members, or if they had any like former like boyfriends, or that's what you think of. You think of like a former boyfriend. If it was someone she knew and she was showing this property, it would have taken somebody to set this up, So that's what I would think. Okay, now I'm going to go into another story. Beverly Carter from Little Rock, Arkansas, and you may have heard of this one. It has been on. There was a series on ID called "No One Can Hear You Scream," and that is such a good series. And there's only like a few episodes done. They never did any more. And I'm like, why aren't they doing more of these episodes? Because I really like this series. And this was on there, on that show. And I think it was also on Dateline. And so this happened. Now, Beverly Carter was born December 20th, 1963. And this happened September 30th of 2014. 50 years old. Beverly was 50 at the time. She had one last home to show for the day before having dinner with her husband. She was going to bring dinner home with her. And a married couple was planning on relocating to the area and contacted her to see the property. It was at 14202 Old River Drive. Hours later, Carl Carter, who is Beverly's husband, Carl Sr., he went to the property around 9 p.m. to see if his wife was there, since he hadn't heard from her. Her car was in the driveway, but the front door was open, and she was not inside. Detectives arrived. He called the police. Detectives arrived and actually found clues from their flashlights. They found that dust was on the floor, and it had been disturbed from people walking through. And then there was dust in the foyer that showed someone had been down on the floor, not just walking through, but someone had been laying there. They found Beverly's notebook in her car, as well as her purse and credit cards. She had written her appointments in this notebook: time, email, and phone number. So she had this appointment written down in there. This led them to finding, I'm going to mention him again, 33-year-old Aaron M. Lewis. I mentioned him in Ashley's case that they thought he was connected, that he was suspected of hers. But that was ruled out. They announced a warrant for his arrest on September 28th of 2014. They charged him with capital murder, robbery, and kidnapping. His cell phone data led them to a concrete plant where he had worked at one time, so he didn't currently work there. They also arrested his wife, Crystal Lowry, and she agreed to plead guilty to reduced charges of first-degree murder and kidnapping if she testified against Aaron Lewis. So this is her testimony. Their plan was for Aaron to kidnap Beverly and keep her in an abandoned office at the concrete plant so they could make ransom demands. But that went south somehow because they had made changes at this concrete plant, meaning I don't know if they made changes to where you couldn't get in, or they made changes where, like, that's my thought, is they couldn't get inside. Because at first I was thinking maybe they like moved everything around and they couldn't find their way around, but I think they probably made it to where they could not have access to it. And Beverly was tied up in the trunk of Aaron's car. So he was afraid he'd get pulled over, so they took her back to his house in Jacksonville. And Beverly was in the bathroom with duct tape binding her. So Aaron decided to go back to the house where he kidnapped Beverly to get her purse and bank card, while Crystal kept her there, and she was holding her there with a stun gun. Oh my gosh, talk about terrifying. Aaron could not complete his mission because police were all over that area at that property. He went back home, and they forced Beverly to record a ransom message. So the message had her begging her husband to cooperate, or it could be bad. That's a quote that I read. But Carl never got this message because he never got it. After he got the message, it was too late to save her. So since Beverly saw Aaron's face, he wanted to kill her. Because they both, him and his wife, Crystal, wrapped her head in duct tape and let her suffocate to death. Her hands were tied around her back. Oh my gosh. She was found in a shallow grave at the concrete plant, northern Pulaski County. When he went to trial, the defense made this all... This is so... In my opinion, this is so stupid. They made it that Beverly was with Aaron and Crystal, and that they were all having a threesome that went bad. Of course, that's the first thing they go for when something like this comes up. So Carl's affair came out. He also in the trial. This is Beverly's husband. He had an affair, and that came out in the trial. And they also had a drunken fight. So the defense is trying to show that Carl would have been responsible for all of this. Maybe he set it up. I don't know. But they had been on good terms before she died. So he had nothing to do with this. Of course, they made it out to look like him, so that the jury, of course, could focus on him instead of Aaron. But the jury did not believe the sex story, of course. They came back with a guilty verdict, and he was sentenced to life without parole. Now, Beverly's son, Carl Carter Jr., set out to bring awareness to the safety of realtors. The Arkansas Realtors Association joined Carl Jr. and recommended using a buddy system, meeting clients first in the realtor's office, and even making a copy of their driver's license. These are precautions you can take. If you're a realtor, it is good to have a buddy system, and especially meeting them first in the realtor's office. Or tell somebody, I guess that would be like the buddy system. Yeah, you could tell somebody, look, I'm meeting this guy here, or have somebody go with you. Carl Jr. also founded the Beverly Carter Foundation. This continues awareness about dangers of the job. He even became a real estate agent to honor his mother. Crystal Lowry, this was Aaron's wife, tried to get her 30-year sentence cut in half as part of a plea for clemency. She found God, no longer a threat to society, blah, blah, blah. No, it was denied, and that was July of 2020. That's really for her, and I'll have photos of them on Instagram. I don't remember, I mean, I know I've heard the story, but I just don't remember the wife being involved at the time. But she, so when I was reading this, I completely forgot about her. But I just wanted to talk about these two cases, and I'm so hoping that they can get Ashley's solved. It's just strange to me how that has went unsolved for this whole time. And if I hear any updates, I will bring them to you here. And if there are any realtors listening to this, please be careful. Take precautions. Make sure you know who you're, dealing with, or like I said, use the buddy system. Copy their driver's license, any of that stuff, because you need to know about them. I mean, you have to protect yourself, So her son's doing an amazing thing. And I just feel for Beverly. Oh, it's just horrible. This was a horrible death. And to be that sadistic. And all of this was because she had money. They thought she had money. And that's why she was targeted. I was going to write that down and I forgot, but there was a reason. It was like of course they knew a realtor would be alone. The house was empty. And he said, I don't know if they were supposed to be a married couple, and I don't know if he said, oh, my wife can't make it. She was going to come, but that's a red flag right there. If that ever happens, that's a red flag. And if it's a married couple, you want to meet both of them first. Excuse me. But that is the story of Ashley Okland and Beverly Carter. And I also forgot to mention at the beginning of this, I got my first Patreon. I want to thank Pam for your support, and I got your goodies sent out yesterday. So you might be getting them Monday. Let's hope. So Monday or Tuesday. Let's hope Monday. But I want to thank you so much for your support. I have 2 episodes up right now. Bob Crane and Dean Coral. And the 3rd episode is going to drop. I'm going to record it right after I get off of here, this recording here, after I get it uploaded and everything. I'm going to record it. And it is the, well, I don't want to announce it here. I want to announce it on Patreon first. But it is one that a movie was inspired by. I've got a long list of great cases for my Patreon. You can also get these on Spotify on subscription for the same price. So it's $5 a month, and you also get some really cool things in the mail from me. And you get, right now I've got 2 full episodes a month and possibly a 3rd. It's going to be 3 episodes this month because I'm going to be doing the 3rd one today, recording it. And I'm probably going to schedule it to drop on Monday. So depending on time, I'm definitely doing 2 episodes a month, and it's they're longer, they're high profile Hollywood crime or deaths that inspired by movies, so that they're more higher profile and they're from everywhere. So they're not just in the Midwest. But so I'm pretty excited. I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Pam. I also like to follow up with mentions. I just got done listening to Gore Report. If you don't listen to that podcast, the last 3 episodes were on the Columbine shooting, and I have learned so much about this case. I recommend listening to it because there's things in it I didn't know. And I really like that they played the clip of the mother of Dylan Klebold speaking. And I really like that they included that. And it really helps people to hear the ins and outs of this case. And oh my gosh, there's so many things I didn't know, and so sad. But I wanted to give them a big shout out for that. And excuse me, my throat, because I just woke up. I did a case not too long ago of Faye and Ray Copeland. Highly recommended if you go back and listen to that. There's a movie loosely based, not really based on it, but they got the idea from it. It's a movie called X. If anybody has seen this, I think some people liked it, but it was not my thing. I didn't. Well, now when it started out, I thought it was going to be so good, and I'm going to talk about this on my next Kelly's Coffee and Movie Chat that's on YouTube. I got that on YouTube, so I do movie reviews. Kind of it's just a chat. They're not very long, and ones that I recommend. But this one, I couldn't recommend it. It started out good. I thought it was going to be good. It takes place in the 70s. My kind of movie. And there's things I liked about it. And things I definitely did not like about it. Now, they had a really cool shot. I got to talk about this shot I really liked. Well, the girl it started to remind me of Friday the 13th, where she's out on a dock and she's sitting off the dock of the lake, and there's a lake there. I'm thinking it's a lake. Anyway, there's an overhead shot where she gets in the water, and there's an overhead shot like you're looking straight down, and you got the whole lake, and it was just a really cool shot. And you could see her swimming, and then you can see an alligator or crocodile. I don't know the difference, but you can see an alligator get into the water, and you see her and you see the alligator from this overhead shot, and it looks like he's going to get her, and it's like, oh my gosh, because she's swimming back to the dock. She doesn't know he's there, and she's swimming back to the dock, just taking her time. And then that overhead shot, I really like that. So the first probably half hour of the movie I thought was pretty cool. There were parts I didn't much care for I could watch just about anything. So making the porn movie at the beginning didn't really bother me, but it was getting to where it's like, man, they're showing a lot of this for it being rated R. That's why that part kind of shocked me a little bit, not, but I was like, wow. And Brittany Snow was in it, and I was surprised to see her, doing this kind of thing. But the parts that really kind of grossed me out was when it showed the killers. As a husband and wife, just like in the true crime story, it's a husband and wife. But in this movie, they look like freaks. They look like they're mummified, or I don't know how to explain it. It's like, what kind of crap? They've got this old, crappy looking makeup on. Well, I don't really want to see them having sex. I really don't. And that, I had to fast forward. It. I could not stomach it. I'm trying to eat. I cannot eat and watch this thing. And I really didn't like the end. I don't know. I know there's a prequel called Pearl, and I thought of watching that. And I watched this on, I'm trying to remember if it was Max or Paramount Plus. And I added the Showtime to Paramount Plus, so it's one of those. Max or Paramount. It may have been on Max, because then I think I was watching Annabelle after this that I've never seen, and then I got to watch Annabelle again because I was doing other things as I was watching it, and I shouldn't have done that, but it didn't seem too bad. Annabelle didn't. I've heard it's really good, so I'm not a Conjuring fan. I saw The Conjuring back when it was out, and that was one that was just okay to me. But anyway, those are my movie recommendations for this week, and sort of recommendations. So it's starting to get into spooky season. I've already watched the first 2 Scream movies because I watch those every year. I know them by heart anyway, but I watch those every year. I love the Scream franchise, the Halloween franchise, and the first 2, Friday the 13th and Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. Those are about the only 3 I'll watch. I've got number 3. Not my favorite one. I remember when that was in the theater, it was out in 3D. Of course, I couldn't go see it. I was too little, but it's not on 3D now. But it would be cool if they would. I don't know if they ever released that in a 3D edition on DVD or not, because they could do that now. So anyway, I just wanted to bring you up on some movie recommendations, podcast recommendations as well, and my Patreon and Spotify subscription. So that's all for today. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy this first weekend of fall. And relax. Take a breath. Go outside, whatever you have to do to calm down and just feel the breeze. And take some time for yourself. I'll see you next time.